Scrutinizer has the ability to generate your own dashboards. Dashboards are a great way for you to create individual gadgets to show off different bits of information on the screen all at once. By default, Scrutinizer has a few built-in dashboards. Right now, we're looking at the welcome dashboard. This one shows off the configuration checklist, a quick start guide, a little bit of information about some recent alarms, some contact information, and then the amount of enabled exporters based off of our licensing. In addition to the welcome dashboard, there is also a Flow Expert dashboard. The Flow Expert dashboard shows a few different gadgets showing off top information. So in the top left, we have the top interfaces based off of utilization within the last 5 minutes and last hour. We have top host pairs, top applications, and top country pairs. This is to give you an example of the type of information you can show off on your individual dashboards. I went through earlier and I generated another dashboard called System Health. System Health, I have a bit of information here showing just the state of the Scrutinizer appliance. Again, I reused the configuration checklist showing that we're at 48% complete in configuration. But I'm also showing the CPU and memory utilization of the system in the last hour. The big graph in the bottom here, this is showing us flow metrics by exporter. So this is the amount of flow data Scrutinizer is currently collecting. What I'm going to do next is generate my own dashboard. There's some information that I would like to be able to see at a glance. So I'm going to generate a new dashboard. If I go to the top right-hand corner and click on the gear icon, this brings up the dashboard options. I'm going to click on Add New Dashboard. I'm going to give this a name of Ryan Dashboard. I have the option to make this my default. I'm going to do that for my user. If I made this read-only, then other users of the system would be able to view this dashboard but not make changes. In this case, I'm gonna leave that unchecked. Next thing I can do is select the type of gadgets that I would like to add. So the information that I want to add to this dashboard. Right now I'm filtered on all gadgets. So this is a list of all of the built-in gadgets. I'm gonna start with maybe a top interfaces view and even the Palo Alto applications. When I select save, it's going to generate that new dashboard. It's a few different things I can do here. The first thing I want to do is I want to resize some of these gadgets. So I'm going to go up to the edit gadget layout. This is where you have the ability to move the gadgets to different areas of the dashboard, as well as resize each one of them. As you resize them, you'll see that the graphs will resize to the new gadget size. Once we're done, well, I'm going to re-click on the edit gadget layout, and this is going to finalize those changes. Each one of the gadgets here have the ability to run the report that shows the information. If I were to click once on the Palo Alto applications, I'll have the Go to Palo Alto applications report button. Once I select that, it's going to run the report that actually generated the data behind that gadget. This is where I can manipulate the data a little bit further, change timeframes, add filters, and even save new reports from here. Now that I have my new dashboard created, I want to add some more information to this page. What I'm interested in seeing is who are the top users for the last 5 minutes. I can use any report saved in Scrutinizer to generate a new dashboard gadget. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the reports options. I'm going to select the device that I want to run the report from. In this case, I'm going to select our Palo Alto firewall. I'm going to change the report type to the Palo Alto Networks option, and I'm going to select users. From here, the only change I'm going to make to this report is I'm going to switch the time frame to be a range of last 5 minutes, and then apply that change and run the report. When I generate a new gadget for this report, there's a few changes that I want to make. The first thing I want to do is I want to remove the not provided user. Some traffic does not have a user assigned to that traffic, so I'm going to exclude that. I'm going to apply that change. I also want to view the data with a different graph type. So in this case, I'm going to switch this to a donut graph. The donut graph will show each user and the amount of traffic in this time frame. Now that I have the report showing the data as if I want to show it on our dashboard, I'm going to first save this report with the Save Report option. I'm going to name this Users Last 5 Minutes and click Save. Now that I have the report saved, I can export this report as a dashboard gadget. So I'm going to add this to a dashboard. I'm going to have the Ryan dashboard selected as the dashboard that this should end at. I'm going to leave the gadget name. I want the graph to show in the gadget. I can change this to graph and table or simply just the table. In this case, I want to show the graph. I'm going to leave that as the donut graph that I had selected when I saved the report. And then I'm going to leave the column sort on bits. Once you click Save, that gadget is now created. So if I navigate back to the Dashboard tab, you'll see I have a new gadget generated for the last 5 minutes. I'm going to edit this gadget one more time. I'm going to change the size of this. I want this to be a little bit more prevalent in the middle here. Save that change. And now I have the applications, the users, and top interfaces. The top interfaces gadget that I have added to my dashboard is a list of all interfaces that are seen from the exporter sending data to Scrutinizer, but based off of the utilization for the last 5 minutes. So this will always show all interfaces from all exporters. In my case, there are some selected interfaces that I would like to pay a little more close attention to that may not filter to the top of the top interfaces view. So I have the ability to generate a new gadget filtered only on the interfaces that I want to monitor. I'm going to navigate to the Edit Dashboard option. And then under the Gadget section, I'm going to click on the Create New Gadget. From here, I'm going to use the type dropdown and switch to Interfaces. I can give this a name of My Top Interfaces. Under the display options, I do want this gadget to do a refresh, and I want that refresh to happen once per minute. The show entries options would say if I have 15 interfaces selected for this gadget, this will only show the top 5. I can change that to 15, 20, whatever I would need to be able to show the interfaces I care about. The visualization is going to be on rate, and the unit will be set to bits. From here, I will find the exporters that I want the interfaces to show from. I have one from the Palo Alto. I will select the other 3 interfaces that I care to view, and then click Save to Dashboard. Now that that gadget was created, we'll see it's down at the bottom here, showing only the interfaces that I had selected. I'm going to, once again, I'm going to click on the Edit Gadget Layout. I'm going to change the size. Oh, a little bit too much. I'm going to change where this gadget lives and the size of that gadget to be able to visualize that data. And now I can see both the top utilized interfaces from all interfaces seen by the system, and I can see the utilization based off of the specific interfaces that I had selected. As we are configuring the Scrutinizer system, the next stage is going to be around generating a new network map. Network maps are a great way to visualize the amount of traffic traversing the network between your individual exporters. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to navigate over to the network map section. When we navigate to the networks maps page, the first thing we need to do is generate a new group of exporters. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to name this Plixer devices. I could add a description of these are the Plixer exporters. I'm going to leave this as a spatial map. and click apply. So the first thing we need to do is add the devices or the exporters that we would like to be part of this particular group. So I'm going to select the Plixer exporters. Now that we have our exporters added as objects to this map, I'm going to select the Plixer devices map, and you'll see all of those are now on the map. First thing I need to do is I need to start moving these around so that I can see the individual exporters. And I have the ability to put them in whatever order I would like. Right now, we'll start simple. Once I have the exporters oriented in a way that makes sense for our network, the first thing I'm going to do is create a connection between the devices. I will start by right-clicking on one of the exporters and go to create a connection. This gives you the ability to select the device that you would like this connection to go to. Once you click on that device, it will open up the add connections options. This shows us that the endpoint we will start at is going to be the Palo One. We're going to use the type of interface. We have a few different options here where we can use report data to visualize the amount of traffic between these two devices. In this case, I'm going to leave the interface type. I'm going to choose the correct interface for that connection. And I've already selected the endpoint of where I would like that connection to go to. So I'll click apply, and that will create the link between those two devices. I've taken some time to create the network map to show the different links between the different exporters that are sending data to show the amount of traffic per interface between those different devices. You also have the ability in Scrutinizer's mapping to show traffic based on a report. So what I can do, because I have on the dashboard a report that shows the amount of traffic per user, I can also use that report data to be able to show in a mapping link. So I'm going to edit the map, jump into the map settings. Under objects, I'm going to create a new object. This object will simply be an icon. I'm going to choose the cloud icon. I'm going to leave the color, size, and line weight. I'm going to label this as cloud and click apply. All this does is add a blank object to our map. Now what I would like to do is create a link between this cloud and our Palo One. Instead of showing a line between these, I'm going to switch this to a saved report, and I'm going to use the user's last 5 minutes, the same report that we used for our dashboard. I can set some custom thresholds for when this link will change colors. I'll leave this blank for now and click apply. Now we have a link between the Palo One and the cloud showing the amount of traffic based on the different users from that saved report. Any saved report in Scrutinizer can be used as a mapping link. In this case, we were using the Palo Alto users report filtered on the different users connecting. Once I'm finished, I'm going to stop editing the map. I'm going to use this map as a new dashboard gadget. So I can go back to the Ryan dashboard, and I'm going to edit this dashboard and add a new gadget. But in this case, I'm going to use a network map instead of a report. Now that that has been added, I can see that I now have my network map added to my dashboard. And I can edit the size of this to suit my screen. So in the end, we end up with a dashboard around the specific data that I want to be able to see at a glance when I log into the system. We generated the Ryan dashboard. We made this the default for my user. We added information about the top users in the last 5 minutes from a saved report. We added the Palo Alto top applications. We added the top interfaces and the my top interfaces specific to the ones that I care about. And we also generated a new network map and added that network map to our dashboard. So now every time we log in, this is the data that I have right at my fingertips.